All right, so what we're going to do next is dive into comparing Google Gemini with ChatGPT Model 4. First off, we're signing up for Gemini, which is cool because they offer a 2-month trial for free as long as you register with a credit card. With this subscription, you get to integrate Gemini into Gmail, Docs, and a bunch of other Google apps. Plus, there's a sweet bonus of 2 terabytes of storage and other Google One perks. So we hit start, enter our payment info, and just like that, we're in on the free trial without any charge for the first 2 months. Inside the platform, we activate Gemini Advanced, which is based on this Ultra One model. We skim through the terms and conditions, get a heads up that not all answers from Gemini might be spot on, and accept to proceed. The main menu's super user-friendly, offering a straight shot to entering our prompts. There are options for coding, planning events, or creating images, and we even have the chance to add a reference image for our prompts. Comparing the interfaces of Gemini and ChatGPT, both are pretty straightforward. In ChatGPT, you can choose between models like 3.5 or 4, and in Gemini, there's the standard or advanced model based on the Ultra. Both lay out a prompt bar and options for creation right off the bat, but we're leaning towards ChatGPT Model 4 for its web search capabilities, image creation, and more advanced content offerings. Now for our first test prompt, we're going with write an essay about sea turtles. The response from Gemini is impressively quick, complete with an essay that's been verified by Google search. This means we can see exactly where the info came from thanks to links highlighted in green. If we're not totally happy with the response, Gemini offers buttons to tweak the answer right away. Make it shorter, simpler, or switch up the tone. ChatGPT requires a new prompt for adjustments, while Gemini lets you refine with just a click. However, making changes in Gemini might lose some of the original info, unlike ChatGPT, which keeps the initial version intact. Gemini also has this draft feature that lets you peek at earlier versions of the AI's responses, offering the flexibility to choose which one fits best. When we toss the same sea turtles prompt into ChatGPT, we get a detailed essay as well. To tweak the response or find out about sources, you'd need to ask directly in ChatGPT. The cool thing here is you get to keep both the original and any revised versions you request. In summary, both platforms have their perks. Gemini offers real-time editing and source verification directly in the response, while ChatGPT provides depth, flexibility, and preserves all versions of your inquiry for comprehensive comparison. Next up, we're going to toss a new prompt at Gemini, asking it to whip up an article on digital marketing. The turnaround is super quick, giving us a detailed piece in no time. We then hit the button to jazz it up into a more professional tone, and bam, within seconds, we've got a polished version rolling out. It's impressive how it nails the key points in a professional wrap. But there's a catch: switching tones made us lose the original version. Switching gears to ChatGPT, we request a similar digital marketing article. The output's thorough, though the language feels a tad generic, kind of giving away its AI origins. Now let's dabble in image creation. Asking Gemini about whipping up images gets us a polite no can do, but it does toss us some recommendations for other platforms to try. Yet we know Gemini's got image making chops. Heading back to the main screen where the creation magic happens, we pick the image option, greeted by a preloaded prompt. We're going to spice that prompt up, asking for a scene that's packed with detail. Generate a vibrant and lively image with a bear wearing a birthday party hat and holding colorful balloons in his hand in front of a birthday cake with a lit candle on top, surrounded by forest friends like a squirrel, a fox, a snake, a hummingbird, all celebrating in the forest. In just 15 seconds, Gemini throws us 4 style varied options. There's the bear, the cake, the balloons, and the animal pals, with the bear and fox standing out in one particularly well done option. Let's see how ChatGPT handles the same challenge. Using the same detailed prompt, ChatGPT, powered by DALL-E 3, delivers a single image but nails every detail. The bear, the balloons, the cake, and all the animal friends are exactly as described, showcasing an impressive outcome. So we decided to switch things up a bit and threw a new prompt into Gemini. Create an image of a racing buggy in the middle of the desert with a blue sky. The buggy is red, and create it in a photorealistic style. About 15 seconds later, we got our images. Gemini churned out 4 stunning photorealistic pictures that nailed every detail we asked for: the red buggy, the desert setting, and that clear blue sky. It was spot on. Switching over to ChatGPT for a similar request, we got a single image this time. But let me tell you, it was nothing short of amazing. An action-packed shot capturing the buggy in full throttle. The dynamism in the picture was incredible. Next, we went for something a bit different. Create an image of a beautiful woman looking through the window with shoulder-length hair, green eyes, and a sad expression. She's playing with her hair and wearing a baby blue sweater. The results were breathtaking. We got 4 images perfectly matching our description: the expression, the green eyes, the sweater, and her playing with her hair. Plus, all the images were in a neat one square format, ready to download with just a click. For the third prompt on ChatGPT, the interpretation was equally impressive, capturing all the details from the hair length and eye color to the sweater. The style felt more like a digital illustration, but was beautifully executed nonetheless. Now onto something completely different: code generation. We hit the example prompt in Gemini, curious to see what it would spit out. And there it was: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all laid out for us. We decided to push our luck and asked for a simple calculator code to help with monthly budgeting. The output was practical, giving us HTML that worked well in a basic code tester. It didn't do the math without JavaScript, but for what it was, pretty handy. Curious, we tried the same with ChatGPT, pasting the example code from Gemini. ChatGPT didn't disappoint, providing us with all the necessary code for a photo slider, and then the calculator complete with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Testing the HTML in a code tester showed it worked flawlessly. Both tools showcased their strengths, from creating detailed images to generating functional code, making both Gemini and ChatGPT impressive in their own right. So, we circled back to see if Gemini could hit up the internet for some info. And guess what? It totally can. It even gives us a quick tutorial on how to craft our questions for the best results. We decide to dive into the Japanese occupation of South Korea, asking Gemini to whip up a short essay on the topic. The response comes back lightning fast and pretty detailed. This time we notice some phrases marked in green and others in orange with an exclamation point. Clicking on these, Gemini tells us it couldn't find a direct source for those specific phrases. But since they're just adding a bit more flavor to the essay, we figure the overall info is still solid. We decide to shake things up and ask for a more casual rewrite. The downside, we lose the original version in the process, but end up with a snappier, more laid-back version of the essay. Over at ChatGPT, we toss in the same prompt. It delivers, but without the internet browsing perk Gemini has, unless we point it to a specific URL for Bing to check out. Nonetheless, ChatGPT churns out a convincing piece packed with info on the subject. When we ask to simplify it, we get a streamlined response and, cool enough, get to keep both the original and simplified versions. ChatGPT also flags that some content might be sensitive, showing it in red, reminding us to tread carefully with our prompts to avoid hitting any policy walls. Next up, we asked Gemini for 10 blog post ideas for a digital marketing blog. It's on the job instantly, breaking down ideas complete with titles and a little intro, all neatly sorted into categories. We pick idea number 6 and ask Gemini to expand on it. In no time, we've got a full-fledged article on our hands. Wanting a simpler take, we hit regenerate, but alas, the original content vanishes, leaving us with just the new, straightforward version. Doing a similar run with ChatGPT, we immediately get a bunch of engaging article ideas. We choose one and bam, ChatGPT delivers a detailed article just like that. Both platforms show off their knack for cooking up content, each with its own strengths and quirks in handling our creative requests. All right, next up, we're putting Gemini to the test with some text correction. We've got this news article, right? But here's the twist. We've sprinkled in 14 spelling mistakes on purpose. We're going to see if Gemini can spot them and fix them up. So we toss the text over to Gemini, asking it to hunt down and correct any spelling goofs. Barely 6 seconds later, we start seeing some magic happen. Once it's done, the text comes back looking identical, but surprise, all the mistakes have been cleaned up. Gemini even lists out the corrections it made at the end. Curious to see exactly what got fixed, we ask it to highlight the corrected words. Boom, there they are. All 14 of them now bolded in the text. ChatGPT, it handles the job just as smoothly. Moving on, we get a bit more creative and ask both platforms to script out a video based on the article, aiming for something that'd run about 2 minutes. We want details like what images to splash on the green screen, camera angles, visuals, and what the presenter should be saying. Both platforms lay out their scripts, breaking down everything into neat sections and shots, complete with dialogue and on-screen text. Gotta say, ChatGPT might have edged out a bit on this one, really nailing the script layout. Now, for a fun twist, we dive into some cooking help. We're aiming to cook a turkey for 6 people and are on the hunt for a detailed recipe. Both platforms deliver, giving us the rundown on the ingredients needed for a crowd-pleasing turkey. But why stop there? We ask for alternative stuffing recipes, and they come through with options. For the grand finale, we're thinking dessert. What's the ideal sweet treat to round off the meal? They dish out a list of 6 tempting desserts. Catching our eye is the cranberry upside-down cake. Asking for the recipe gets us instant results, along with pointers to other resources for more culinary inspiration. ChatGPT, just like Gemini, offers up ingredient lists, cooking methods, and dessert options without skipping a beat. Let's set the scene. We've just enjoyed a lovely dinner night complete with turkey and cake, and now we're itching for a good horror flick, something along the lines of Evil Dead. We shoot our question out, hoping for some solid horror movie recommendations. Sure enough, we get a hefty list back, detailing movie titles, release years, and a brief synopsis for each. It's like a treasure trove of spooky cinema right at our fingertips. Curious about the latest scares, we narrow our ask to horror movies released in 2023, knowing well that our AI pals here have their knowledge cut off around early 2023. Impressively, they managed to list a few options, even throwing in a handy Amazon link for where we could snag to these films, and what do you know, the responses between the platforms are pretty consistent, almost mirroring each other in recommendations. Fast forward to the next day, and there's a slight guilt trip from last night's feast. It's workout time. Both platforms step up as our virtual personal trainers, laying out a workout plan complete with warm-ups, cardio, and cool-down sessions. But we're feeling a bit more specific and ask for a playlist to pump us up through the workout, only we want it heavy metal style. They deliver, giving us a badass heavy metal playlist tailored to each phase of our workout, complete with extra tips on how to manage our playlist vibes. Then there's a twist. We've got a job interview coming up and we're sweating bullets over a question about our Angular skills, which, let's be honest, aren't great. We're more React people. We ask for advice on how to swing this in our favor, and bam, instant advice. We're given multiple ways to tackle the question, showing how we might pivot to highlight our strengths in React instead. Finally, it's time to get serious about landing that job at a big tech company. We need a cover letter, and not just any cover letter, but one that screams professionalism. We ask, and we receive, a well-crafted cover letter that hits all the right notes. Feeling ambitious, we request an even more polished version, and just like that, we get a cover letter that could probably make a hiring manager cry tears of joy. So, what's the verdict? Both Gemini and ChatGPT-4 are powerhouses, no doubt. Gemini shines with its ability to integrate seamlessly with the web, pulling up real-time info and even shopping links. ChatGPT-4, on the other hand, impresses with its detailed and nuanced responses, maintaining quality even when the prompts get specific or complex. It's like picking between a Swiss Army knife and a masterfully forged sword. Both are incredibly effective, just in different arenas. Gemini's web surfing prowess and ChatGPT-4's depth and articulation make them both invaluable, depending on what you're after. In the end, whether you're planning a horror movie marathon, plotting a post-feast workout, navigating tricky interview questions, or crafting the perfect cover letter, both Gemini and ChatGPT-4 have got your back in their unique ways. It's not about who's better, it's about which tool fits the task at hand.
Thanks for watching. Subscribing to my channel means my new videos are going to show up in your feed, and I understand that I have to earn that click of a button from you. I hope that my topics are what you're looking for and entice you to do that.
Have a great day, and I hope you make bazillions.